Good morning to everybody. Thank you for joining us, whether live or on the replay. I'm going to get the administration duties out of the way as usual. I'll be as quick as I can. I'm just going to share this into a couple of Facebook groups that we're both involved with. So let's have a look. Ooh, doesn't appear on my timeline yet. That's the first. It's odd. Try again. Do we just love technology?
I do.
No, it doesn't. We are live though. If I can just ask if anybody is on who's in the AMP group or the Empower You Energy Healer group, can you just share this onto my... there we are. Right. Share to a group. Share. And share. Bit of delayed reaction there for some reason. Anyway, not to worry. So as I say, a warm welcome to everyone and thank you for joining us. We had so many of your questions last time that we decided to do another session before Christmas to get through them all. It's only right. There are so many ways to introduce my amazing guest. I could say he's a good friend of mine, a mentor to me, along with countless of other people he's a mentor to. He's a best-selling author with a staggering 22 books published. He's the creator of AMPT, which is a world-class and cutting-edge program to help you heal on a profound level, allowing you to manifest your dreams and achieve your mission in this lifetime. He's a world-renowned spiritual teacher, majoring on the Tao. He's the healer's healer and healer to the stars. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my delight to bring you the brilliant Barefoot Doctor, Stephen Russell. Thank you for joining us, mate.
You are so modest. You're such a lovely man. Thank you. Do you know what? I had a thought that because we didn't really get time to do a proper visualization thing, maybe before we went into the questions, should we do one to start with?
Yep. Let's do that. And we've got 13 viewers online.
Would you rather wait till the end? I mean, I just had a feeling that it would be quite good to set the tone with a bit of an altered state, you know.
I'm all for mixing things up and switching things up. Yeah, I'll just go to the comments first if you don't mind, and then I'll. Yeah. Okay.
I don't mind anything, me. I'll roll with it, whatever.
Right. I can't remember how to get these bloody comments up.
As long as you don't spit on the floor, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
That was my dad always used to say, because in the pubs at the East End, they used to have signs up saying no spitting on the floor, because originally in the late 1800s, Chinese workmen were coming in, and it was their custom to spit on the floor, and so they had to have signs up that was, you know, in the docks. It was the dock area, no spitting on the floor. So it's like everything's all right with me as long as you don't spit on the floor. Like, it's a mad idea.
Sounds good to me. I can't get the comments up for some reason, but Isabel saying hi, everyone. Hello, Isabel. Sabine, morning. Stephen and Danny, morning to you. Juliet Owens, morning to you, Juliet. Judy Kennedy, hi, Stephen and Danny, a warm greeting from Canada.
Hello.
To you, my friend. Julia Jenkins, good morning, chaps. Teresa saying, just stopping by before dashing out to say a big shout out to you lovely guys for these fantastic interviews and wisdom shared by you both. I look forward to listening a little bit later on. Warm wishes and love to everyone for a magical Christmas time. Teresa, thank you. That's beautiful. Rob Carpenter saying, evening, guys. Of course, he's in the future in Oz, in down under. Teja, warm hugs from Slovenia. Same back to you, Slovenia. So as the doc says, we're going to start today, set the tone for a wonderful guided visualization, and I'm certainly not going to argue with that. To this end, I'll poll the groups, and the winner by a long margin was, I think it was picked by Teresa, and I just did a poll to see who was going to vote for it. It just says the visualization where we see our future self and energetically climb into the back, seeing life how we like it to be. She says it's very powerful, and this one never fails to surprise and delight me. So basically, the future self.
I got it. I got it. I like it like this one, as if it's like a set piece, you know. I like that. Okay, this is the one. I was just up on the roof doing my training on Tai Chi and Qigong and all of that. And
Right.
I thought of you all, everyone who's going to be watching this. I wanted to share this with you because it's the sort of basic experience of, well, it's not basic, it's pretty profound, yes, but it's quite high as well. Quite an altered state where you see, because with Christmas coming, it could be any other excuse that we'd like to come up with, though. We tend to future project onto relatively tiny little details and make ourselves extremely afraid or angry or uncomfortable merely about a picture that we have in our mind, not actually about what's going on around us now. So, for example, it could be something as silly as I've got to buy Christmas presents. I don't know what to buy for everybody. What do I buy for everybody? And you get stressed trying to make a decision, and you'll be in some sort of conflict about this relatively minor detail. The reason it's important to you is because you don't want to look like a bad person in the eyes of others, etc. So it's all about other people. This is all lateral prefrontal lobe activity. What's the group going to think of me? Or the incredible amount of focus given on what is essentially probably the 2 hours sitting around a table eating a meal. And we give it such significance, which is fine. I'm not criticizing that. It's obviously the human way to kind of give significance to symbols, essentially. And that's fine as long as we remember they're symbols. However, to try and negotiate your way through life lost in that world of ascribing full significance to symbols is not the best way to get the best ride out of it. According to this whole system I work with, the Taoist system, the way to get your best ride out of life is to become the big presence that's actually informing not only all of you, but everything that you see around you, i.e. the Tao, what we might call God, without any religion attached to it. In other words, the original presence that's informing this entire magic picture show of material reality, which seems like a lofty idea. And maybe the intellect goes, yes, that seems like a jolly good way to go, possibly. But how do you do it? Well, this has nothing to do with the intellect. It has nothing to do with whether you think it's a good idea or not, even. It's an experiential state, which if you practice it with regularity, what happens is your big self, the big presence, the Tao that's informing you, takes over the show. We would in the West call it the subconscious. You're accessing the subconscious, and specifically you're activating the upper rear back brain, which is the hunter-gatherer brain. That's the brain of the hunter-gatherer before we were growing food, so we didn't have to worry about what was going to be coming down the line when the crops were due to come in, etc. We were living literally hand to mouth. We were living in the moment. You had to. You couldn't hunt, you couldn't forage, you couldn't exist without living pretty much solely in the moment. So they didn't rely on all this kind of fictive thinking that goes on in the front that much. They were relying much more, one presumes, I wasn't there at the time, as far as I remember, the back brain. They were like, so that your instinctual mind is operating. And what happens is once you access and activate and access this part of you, the decisions get made for you. You know exactly what to do. You just follow this impulse of energy that's flowing through you, this chi that you feel flowing from the back through the front that kind of guides you to that counter at the shop to buy that for this person. It might not make sense to your rational mind, but you'll find those presents, I'm using this as a silly example, those presents will probably find greater resonance, much greater resonance with the people you give them to than if you use your intellect. Well, I think I should buy this one for that one. I should buy that one for. So this is an experiment, really, an existential experiment in shifting the emphasis within yourself, so that a much deeper, more ancient, and actually far more globally intelligent part of you can take over. And when that happens, you've got perspective. You no longer get lost in the nonsense, basically, because you stop blowing things out of proportion and making mountains out of molehills, which is essentially what we all tend to do at this time of year. So saying, let yourself relax. That means let all the muscles of your body go soft. That means stop gripping for no reason. You don't have to hold on to the chair. You don't have to hold on to the air. You just let yourself relax. Relax the face, so you don't have to hold on to the expression. Relax the back of the neck, so you don't have to keep controlling your head. Relax your lower back. Relax your belly. Relax your legs. Relax your arms. Everything softens just a little bit more. In the midst of all this, become aware of your breathing and note that your breathing is probably a little bit intermittent and irregular. Maybe you're holding your breath a bit. We do hold the breath to try and hold the flow of information, to try and stop it, because it's so much we've got to process all the time. Obviously, it doesn't work. You've got to breathe freely and slowly, and then that slows it all down for you. So let yourself start to breathe more slowly, more deeply, more gently, more softly, so that the breath becomes like silk being reeled in and out of a cocoon, and you start valuing the luxury of having this breath, because this is what's keeping you alive. I say luxury, obviously it's essential, but what a luxury to be alive on a planet, in a human body, able to think, able to do, able to connect with others doing similarly. So there's this appreciation of being alive that starts to happen as you're breathing in and breathing out. And as this happens, you start to become aware that there's a flow, a subtle flow of energy moving through the body, of life force. The feeling of being alive is moving through your body. It's happening all the time, but because we're so used to it, we go numb on it. So what we're doing here is we're just opening up our cognitive awareness to what is actually going on at a deeper level than we're normally awake to. Now, the posture of your body directly determines your whole experience. So if you were to lengthen your spine, you become dignified, you get dignity, i.e., you are literally upright. And with the spine lengthened, the energy flows upwards through the crown of the head and meets with the energy of space, where all the intelligence is floating about. So the idea is you picture somebody lifting the back of your head so that your neck gets longer at the back, and it gets longer all the way down to the tip of your spine, all the way from there up to the crown of the head, which is sort of seeking the sky. So you get this lovely feeling of length, and you know yourself as being a dignified being. You're upright, you're present, you've arrived. Allow your breastbone to very, very gently rise up and slightly forwards. But as you do that, instead of arching your back, which is what you'd normally do, push your back backwards even more. It's as if you're pushing back into your kidneys to enable this slight lift of the breastbone, so that you're giving yourself a more queenly or kingly air about you, or like the sovereign of the realm. Allow your shoulders to drop, so you're not carrying the burden of the stories that you're telling yourself about things. You let that go. And with that, you let all the weight of the upper body drop into the lower part of the body, so that you're actually doing what weight is meant to do. You're allowing the weight to go where it wants, which is it's succumbing to the pull of gravity. However, because your spine is lengthened and your crown is seeking the sky, that prevents you slumping. So you maintain dignity while having gravitas, just like the queen or the king would be. And the idea of being the queen or the king of the realm now is taken further, because the front part of you, everywhere forwards of the side seams of your body, is the area of activity associated with the world as you perceive it going on around you. Your sense organs are aware of action occurring in front of you. They do perceive it as being in front of you because they all face forwards. And there is an internal dialogue occurring in the front part of the brain that describes and makes sense of the input of the senses according to the template of a story that you started writing when you were, 2 years old? When, to be fair, although you were really fresh and with the innocence of heaven in you, you didn't know shit about life. But that's when you started writing the very template of the story that you use to describe reality to yourself. So that's quite interesting. Beautiful as a 2-year-old is, it's not necessarily the most reliable age to start forming a story. So it's quite interesting that that's what happens. And that all goes on in the front part of the brain. And you are reacting to that with fear, with all sorts of unpleasant or pleasant emotions in the belly, in the front of the body, which then affects the chest. So you feel it in your heart and so on. This in turn causes contraction in the pelvis, i.e. it causes you to pull up behind the pubic bone, actually, pull up the pelvic floor. And that draws you away from reality. It draws your root away from reality, which is you are on a planet that is spinning around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour at this very moment. The planet has a thin crust beneath which is the heat that you get on the surface of the sun. It's a nuclear powered spaceship that you're sitting on. It spins on its axis at 1,000 miles an hour. It's doing it right now. And that's what stops us falling off. It creates a gyroscopic effect. And what you're doing now by sinking the weight is you are honoring the power of that, not some boring, dull, grounded, cold, wet, muddy kind of granite thing that goes on forever. That's what you've got to, oh yeah, I think I should really get grounded. It's boring, but I do it. This is powerful. You're connecting with a really powerful active force that goes at 66,000 miles an hour around the sun. That's power. And that's what you're tuning into now as you sink your way. It's very exciting. Simultaneously, the top of your head is open to all the information, all the data in the cosmos. So you are connecting and connected to the everything right now, into infinity. You always were, you always will be, but right now you're making yourself cognitively aware of it. And that activates another level of the power that moves through the universe, which we're about to access as follows. So that's the front part of you, the noisy, vulnerable, insecure, people referenced, story referenced arena of activity. However, the rear part of you, everywhere rear of the side seams, is the home of your original self. It's the home of the presence that informs you. It's the home of the consciousness that you were enjoying when you were an embryo in the womb. And in that middle trimester, when you were small enough to be able to swim around in the womb and have fun in there, but big enough to know that you existed as you bumped into the sides of the womb and so on. That was really as close as we could ever get in human form to absolute heaven. And that's what we're all seeking. And that's what this system actually brings us back to. It's that original awareness that we embodied, that miraculous awareness we embodied as we took form. We didn't invent it. We embodied it. It was there already. That is the Tao. And it's a great mystery, and we can't plumb it. All we can do is access it and be it. And so when you occupy the rear part of you, you're actually occupying the original self, the Tao, the awareness that you embodied as you took form in the first place. And this is the awareness that informs the entire universe. This is omniscience. Now, the way to do it, if you like, is to imagine that you have at your back a large industrial vacuum tube, and somebody's turned it on a little bit further away, and this hugely powerful engine kicks into action and starts to create a suction that is so powerful in your back that it pulls the entirety of your presence, the whole of your being, backwards out of your front and into the back of you. It's like, and you're being sucked right back into the back of you. And it feels very nice, you notice. And you start to realize that there's this very beautiful, comfortable chair for you inside, a really well-designed chair that is perfectly suited for you to slip back into. It's like a throne, but even better designed than the throne. But it definitely has, it alludes to a throne because you're the queen or the king of the realm. And just like the queen or the king, you sit back properly, you lean back inside, and you've got your chest raised so you can see around you. You are in command of the realm. And you're not leaning forwards to talk to the courtiers who are approaching you, i.e. the thoughts that are coming at you. They have to lean forwards to you because you're the queen or the king. And you don't lose your center when you see these thoughts coming at you, these courtiers. You don't people please. You don't thought please. You stay back. You consider you're in command of the realm. And you allow your mind, because you're so relaxed about it, you're so in command, you allow your mind to rest against the headrest of the throne, which is at the rear part of the skull, the rear bone of the skull. You lean your mind back against the upper rear bone of the skull. And from there, you gaze out into infinity through the center of your forehead. You just gaze out into infinity. You become aware that you are in infinity and you're gazing out along a line that stretches into infinity. And eventually, because it's curving, all lines do, it comes all the way back to behind you throughout the universe, though. That's a big loop. And you are aware of your breastbone in the front of your body being a bit like a armor-plated covering to protect your heart. Well, now, because you're in your power, imagine the two halves of the breastbone slowly moving apart from each other like a pair of magical sliding doors to reveal in the middle of your chest what looks like a cluster of precious jewels in all the colors you'd associate with love and the heart, with courage, with beauty, with nobility, with grace. So, like rose and rose quartz, rubies, garnets, amethyst, those sorts of stones emitting a beautiful light, and you can see that there's roses and beautiful flowers and all around these jewels, and it's emitting an amazing fragrance as well as a beautiful light. These are just symbols, but you're seeing basically the beauty of your soul, the unique beauty of your soul, your gift to the universe, your gift to the world, now free to radiate ubiquitously, to fill up your field and beyond with love, with courage, with all the qualities you want to see in the world around you. And you're helping infuse the collective mix with these qualities by doing this. As a result of that, you're rewarded by the collective mix sending you back that same quality, its version of that quality. So as you breathe in, you're drawing in the love, the good human qualities of the world around you, the good ones, the ones you like, into your chest. And as you breathe out, you're giving your unique gift back to the collective. So you're engaged in holy work here. This is important. It's not just about you and what you want in your life. However, it is also about you and what you want in your life, because you're an art form. The Tao, the big presence, has manifested itself as you because it wants to have the best possible ride through your being. It wants to experience the best possible ride through you. So you owe it to the Tao, to the great presence, to optimize your conditions. It's not about being greedy. It's not about being self-obsessed. It's about optimizing the show, the art form that you're creating for the joy of the Tao that's informing you, and therefore for the joy of the Tao informing everybody. This is a holy service we're doing here. So as you sit in your back now, I want you to breathe and become aware that the front of you, the arena in which there is normally lots of noise and conflict and discord, has become relatively remarkably still and free of all of that. It's become a place a bit like a spring bluebell forest in the morning, with warm but not too warm sunlight coming through the leaves of the trees. And it feels fresh and new, and everything is possible. And that's what it feels like, more like the arena in the front of the body now. Now, into this bluebell forest, I would like you to bring a character. At the first, you can't see who they are because they're walking in from the left of your view, about 100 meters distant from you. You can't quite tell what era they're from. It looks like the present one, but maybe the clothes are very subtly, maybe 2 or 3 months in the future. I don't know how you tell that, but there's something about this person as they're walking. And amazingly, as you see them in profile walking into the center of the view, where there's a shaft of sunlight coming through the trees, and they turn to face you, lit by the shaft of sunlight, as if by a very well-placed spotlight in a theater. And they look at you from about 100 meters away. You realize this is you. This is your future self. But you're not jumping forwards to get involved in it all. You're staying back in the back of you as the queen or the king of the realm, being amused by what's going on, as you would be if you were the queen or the king. This is being done for your amusement. A magic picture show, if you like. And it is magic because by seeing it, you will activate what you're going to be seeing. It's setting an intention. And as you look at this future self, 3 months, say, 90 days from now, you notice that the future self is smiling at you in the most reassuring, heartwarming way. You see that smile is so confident, so sure, so unquestioningly powerful, strong, and rooted in the beneficence of existence, because something amazing has happened to that person. You don't know what, you don't have to know what, but something amazing has happened. There has been a quantum development of conditions, of events, of situations of some sort that person wanted, that has happened, has come into being. And that person is feeling that sense that a person feels when something they've wanted for a long time is finally actually happening, and happening without any effort. They've tried to make this happen before. They've tried and tried and tried, but suddenly, without trying, it just happened. And the feeling of grace that person feels, it's true, the Tao does provide, if I trust it to. That feeling, that confidence is so powerful as they smile at you, that you're finding it's filling you with that same feeling. I mean, it is you smiling at you, but you from the future is filling you with that same feeling, as if already you have experienced an incredible quantum development of conditions and events in terms of something that you've wanted to make happen for a long time. And it's big, it's something big. You can feel it, and it's happened. You've got that feeling in your body that it's already happened, and it feels amazing. It feels amazing. You feel amazing. You feel as if you've always wanted to feel, you've imagined you'd feel when that thing you wanted happened. You're feeling it already without the thing even having happened yet. And it's wonderful. And it's not a joke. It's not a fantasy. It's an actual feeling in your body. Now, allow yourself, as you, the familiar you, but you in the back of you, to encompass this entire notion as if holding it with your arms and keeping it safe and saying, this is what I agree to. I agree to this. I agree to this. And then let the whole thing go and wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, wriggle your ears and wriggle your nose, flutter your eyelids, and find yourself back in the room with Danny and I. Ready and raring for the next phase of your life to begin, knowing it's going to be amazing, no matter what.
Stephen Russell, that was epic. Thank you so much. What a pleasure it was to meditate online with 15 viewers from around the world. Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. And it's funny, you're right, from an energetic perspective, it makes more sense to do the visualization at the start to bring everyone's energy together.
Well, today maybe I wouldn't make a rule,
Yeah.
I don't like rules. But yeah, today for sure. Thank you for being flexible.
Isabel saying that was epic. Thank you. I can get the comments up now. They've changed the program, that's why. Barry saying morning men and group, trust you are both well. We are, yes, thank you, Barry.
Morning men, I like that. Morning men. Morning, Barry.
Carmen saying good morning from Scotland. Isabel saying hi everyone, hello. And I think I've got these comments so far, so I'm up to date. I hate it when they change the program on you. It throws you for a little bit. Right. So this first question, Doc, if you're ready to go.
I'm ready, always ready.
From Isabel, quite a thoughtful, considered question. I have to say, she's saying, how can we best help our little ones keep their energy as intact, clear, and strong as possible? She's saying, for example, I have a 2-year-old niece, and already seeing her many of the unsafe and control patterns I had to clear in my adult years. And I know that each new generation is getting more and more sensitive.
Well, Isabel, I have a bit of an odd way with children, because I have always treated my own and other people's children. I talk to them as if they're adults who understand what I'm talking about, and just have a conversation with them. I talk to them like I would if they were 36 years old or whatever. And, really in the same tone of voice. I don't do the baby language, that, because I think that's actually quite harmful, really. It encourages people to be idiots. Isn't it? Silly sounds and all that. I'm not saying don't make silly sounds, and play, but you can always do that. But that shouldn't be the main thing. And that, or what most people do, I don't mean you, but it'll either be that or, no, don't do that. Mummy doesn't like it. Daddy doesn't like it. That, and they kind of distance themselves as being mummy or daddy instead of me, Well, I've always just thought it's better to be yourself and treat the other like you would anyone else. Just because they're baby doesn't mean they're an idiot. And you talk to them as if they understand you, and they don't understand the words. But I promise you that words are about 3% of what carries the message from one person to the other. It's the sound wave that actually carries about 98% of the message to another person. The quality of the sound that I'm giving you is what's really giving your heart the actual message that I'm conveying. And the words are like the dance that we do. The sound is like the music we're dancing to. And you explain what you would explain to a 36-year-old. Don't buy the conditioning that says you're any less than a limitless being and that you can do anything you want to in this world. And look, that you doing that is you kind of like buying into the idea that you're broken in some way. You're not broken. You're not. You're beautiful as you are, and everything you do works if you believe that. You know that sort of stuff that you'd want to, whatever you'd want to say to an adult. And that's what I've always done with children. And what happens is you get that in itself does something. But if you have an ongoing relationship with them, what happens is when they start talking, they actually start talking immediately like that back at you. That's what happens. They just are in the conversation. They've just got the words to play with now. It's a remarkable way of being with children. I don't know if that's any help, but.
Well, Isabel's saying I fully agree. They do understand the full meaning of what we are conveying, and mostly through our energy. She does that very clearly, my niece. So yeah, it's such wonderful advice that we aren't broken, we don't need fixing, and it's just words are just what is here 3-5% of it of what we're actually conveying. It's the energy we're exuding, the unspoken words. So I love that. Thank you. So that one was for you, Isabel. Thank you, Doc. So I love this next one. This is from a guy in the AMP group, Doc, and I loved it when he posted this. He says he's a man of your own heart. He's saying, is there any chance, Stephen, that Stephen will have the time to make just the amped music available for us to buy? He says, I'm loving it and would like to dance to it at my 65th birthday party rave next year. Love you, man. Good for you, mate. So,
yeah, thank you. You man. Yeah, no, you've read my mind, obviously, of course. I mean, I actually foresaw, and I wasn't going to. Yeah, this is amazing. This is the moment. Thank you. What was the guy's name? Did you say?
Emma, Amer.
Emma.
Emma, yeah.
Emma, bless your heart. That is beautiful. Because I'll tell you why. I foresaw there would come a moment where someone with witnesses to bear witness to it would say exactly that, would make that request, and I was told, because the whole AMP thing is like I'm being told what to do all the time. I experience it that way anyway. That you wait till that moment comes, and that is when you then activate that whole the thing that people can buy. Before you get a request, you're not allowed to do that, and you've just done that. Thank you, that exact thing. So I will put that into it was it's part of the plan to do. There's a lot of things coming through. Because I'm at the moment I've just finished writing all the script, the lyrics for volume 3. The music is all done. I have got too many, I have to say, pretty amazing tracks. And I'm in the process of I hate doing it, but I've got to knock some out because it would be too long. I'm actually thinking of making it 7 episodes because I think maybe it might be worth doing it for a second. There's so much really great music, if I say so myself. And anyway, that's where I'm at with volume 3. Then there'll be the 3 volumes that I was instructed to do initially, the 3 volumes. But then I started doing amps immersives, which are these sort of 16 to 20 minute pure ambience without any rhythm or melodic structure, just enhanced frequency or pure frequency design. And they're really trippy. So there's that. They're a tool. I mean, I think they're amazing for moving the energy and having various effects. And then I'm going to do amp particulars, which are going to be something like 16-minute dedicated meditations about how to get to sleep or making more money or being more confident, specifics that come up regularly that would be, again, useful tools. And then there are going to be what are going to be called micro doses, which are going to be, they're slightly different sound. I mean, they're not, it's the same stuff, but made a little bit more minimal and short, 2 to 3 minute cuts for young people who really don't have the time or attention span for like anything beyond that, but will get a lot from a repeated affirmation about the things that young people are really stressed by. Microdoses, and then there will be the amped without lyrics. You know, the amps. I wish I could remember the names. It was such a good name, but anyway, doesn't matter. There's going to be what you just asked for, raw cuts sort of thing. And yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. How exciting. Thank you. These will be done. These will be done.
Yeah, so enjoy your 65th birthday party rave next year, Emma. Nice one. Good for you. Always stay young at heart. That's the secret to a happy life. Never grow.
But I'd really like to donate them to your party for your birthday. So if through Danny you can he can connect me to you, so or vice versa. I'll make that happen for you. I'll make sure you get them all as a gift for your birthday.
Excellent. What a delightful exchange that was. Nice one. Get in. So the next question, I can't remember who asked this one. I didn't write the name down. I forgot. But the question is: has the Docker process or a way that one can apply to heal ancestral traumas?
Yes, funnily enough, even that is in volume 2 of AMPT, isn't it? There's the healing the ancestors. It's very important to do that. I call it transtemporal healing or transtemporal therapy. The idea being that at the level that we sit in the back, where we are the big presence, that we're no longer in the illusion of the construct of linear time. We've come out of that. Therefore, somebody who was alive in linear time 500 years ago is still alive in the eternal now. I'm not asking you to believe this, or I'm not suggesting this is the truth. This is just a view that I base things on, the Taoist view. And therefore, if I come in my back and I look backwards from there, I can connect with all my ancestors and I can send them healing. And when I do that, which I do every day, they will be transmitting through the linear time construct that healed DNA back through to me in an instant. It's like the quantum realm. I receive that through time, and I guarantee quantum physicists will kind of corroborate this in years to come, that this is all going on. I guarantee it. It might sound a bit like pie in the sky nonsense, but I really pretty sure that you'll find it isn't. So what you do is you go into yourself, you relax, you move into your back, you feel the hugeness of your big presence in the back. You seek through your back the ancestors. You just say, where are you? And they're not really behind you. Obviously, they're in the realm that's all around you. But for you, it's easier to see them behind you, like in the past. And there's a sense of them spreading out in a vector outwards behind you, because you've got your parents are 2, then the grandparents 4, and you've got the exponential curve there, and then from that the greatest distance between the 2 points, it then goes back in again, because presumably there were originally only 2 of them that started the whole thing off, I guess, or 4 of them. I don't know how it all works. So but it's a kind of diamond motif behind you. And you will be resonating more through your DNA with certain of your ancestors than others. It's normal, because there's zillions of them back there. I don't know how many of them. They're stretching back a good 1.5 miles behind you, all squashed chest to back. And you'll find somewhere there'll be one like jumping up and down, getting your attention. I've got this one who looks a bit like a monkey, like me. He's like a loony, like I am. Like, he gets me. I get him. He's back there about 8 rows back. And then there's another one, this woman way back there, that is just really beautiful and wise, and she like unconditional love kind of character. That's for me. So you'll find there'll be ones that you hook onto, and you send them good wishes. You send like, look, anything that's a problem for you, make it go away. I wish you all the strength, the health, the beauty, the whatever it is. Have it all. Have it. Be well. But everything be good to you. And you feel that energy go backwards, and you picture, feel, then receive it. Thank you. And this is profound, because this is outside of the usual frame of human experience. And then you relax and you feel the power of all the ancestors coming at you from behind, and it's manifesting as your DNA, but it's actually changing your DNA as it comes in. It's upgrading it, basically. There's automatic updates going on, because if you sent the energy back, it's coming at you healed. And so you're getting a better quality of a cellular organization already. And you picture yourself kind of buzzing with it. So you picture, or you'll feel yourselves like alive with it all. And you just appreciate it, agree to it, and it's done. That would be my recommendation.
Excellent answer. Thank you, Doc. That's Stephen mentions, that's on the Excellent Amped Volume 2, along with many other healing attributes and opportunities to heal. So let's have a look what we got next. Elena asks, this was another question from last time, which we didn't get to. She says, Doc, please, my hands go numb and it's so painful. I can't use them or do anything else until it passes when it happens. I've been told it's circulation. I am grateful, though, because it woke me up in time for this 6 a.m. event. That's what you said last time. So yeah, poor circulation, numb, painful hands. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, poor circulation in general, krill, and rooting. I don't know. It's not called that in every country. I know in England it's called rooting. I think it's willow bark. I'm a bit ignorant. I've been taking it for years myself. I don't know what it is, but it's really good. It's a tree bark. And so rutin, at least those, and krill. There are other things. Take whatever you know, goji berries. There are many things that are good for circulation. The rooting is good because it gives more elasticity to the blood vessels. Then the hands, if you stretch the fingers, you pull the little finger back and then you push it forwards. Then you do the next finger and you hold it for a bit. I'm rushing it here because we're doing this. Then you forwards, then you do the next one and you give it a proper stretch. You really feel it in the palm and then there, and then the big finger and then there. Then you take your thumb back to your wrist and then you take it the other way. Then you take it across your thumb, your hand roll, and then you put your hand between your fingers to stretch them out that way. And then you turn your hand like that one way and then you turn it the other to give it a stretch, and you give it a shake. And then you press in the center of the palm with your thumb and go round and round with it. And then on the heel of the hand by the little finger, round and round, and then on the heel of the hand the other way. And you do the same on the other hand. Now, if you were doing that with me, the difference between one hand and the other is already quite dramatic. But this is the important part. That's just a cosmetic, really. You put your thumb of one hand into the armpit, right up into the apex of the armpit of that arm, of the other arm. And I just want to try and stay in shot here. I don't know if you can see. I'm winding with a fist. I'm winding the arm backwards like I'm winding a pulley, slowly, but really jabbing my thumb in hard. And then I go the other way. And I've really got my thumb in hard all the way, breathing. And then I'd be sitting straight with I was doing, obviously, because I'm trying to get in picture. And then you let go, and you'll notice about 30 seconds later, this really nice feeling of warmth starts to go down the arms, and that numbness that you get at the ends of the fingers and what have you, and then that goes into the hand, something changing in it. So if you did this every day, it would train the circulation to work a little bit more efficiently. Yeah.
Yes, such a mine of information. So I hope that helps you, Ellen. I'm sure it will. You can always respin this video, this Facebook Live, to the pertinent points for guidance. Thank you, Doc. So Clive has a question. You see my question for the Doc. How do we stop ourselves reacting to controlling and bullying people's behaviour to retain peace of mind and well-being? Thanks, Clive.
Yeah, Clive, good question. And, we get caught in dynamics, in situations without even realizing it's happening. And we'll be held hostage to the other's manipulation patterns, as they will be to ours, and so on and so forth. And I think that the only liberating device there really is actually becoming aware of what is occurring as it's happening. So when you stay in your back with your heart open in the front, you see that the other is, you focus on the back part of the other, the presence that's behind the facade. You realize that they are as equally the Buddha in disguise as are you. And that the part of them that appears to be this controlling, difficult presence. That is just a disguise of the Buddha come to show you something about how you're controlling yourself in a way that you shouldn't be, if you like. And if you honor in your heart, you start to talk to the Buddha in them. You kind of ignore the disguise. You imagine it's a fancy dress party and you figured out who they are, and you're talking now to the person you know rather than the person they're pretending to be. And that in itself can have a very powerful effect as a technique for dispelling control freakery. I don't know if I should share this because then I won't be able to use it on anyone. But excuse me, if you can find a positive reason for why somebody's doing something that's irritating to you or difficult for you, and acknowledge them for it with a genuineness of heart, you have to really mean it somehow, even if the effect of it until now has been detrimental to you. It tends to be the thing that stops them doing it, rather than kind of giving them opposition and telling them you want them to stop doing that thing. What I mean by that, okay, so there's a chef at a restaurant in Ibiza, a friend of mine. We go there for dinner. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. He comes out the kitchen, and I'll just say to him that was the most beautiful meal. Thank you, darling. That really was amazing. And I don't know if he'd been taking speed or what. He's got the fluffs. He's scratching his face like that. And he looked like a complete nutter, you know. And at the instant, it was like, stop doing that. What's wrong with you, man? Stop doing that. And instead, I said, you know, I love that mad dance thing you're doing. That thing you're doing on your face is wicked, man. I love that. That's crazy. And he smiled at me and stopped immediately. So it's like I was working with somebody who was being over controlling with me. And I realized what they were trying to do was take responsibility for the situation. And therefore were relieving me, or trying to relieve me of it. The fact that their ideas weren't like to my liking was something else. And I said, you know, I really admire the way you take control of a situation, and then left a gap for a moment. And they looked at me first. No, seriously, I think it's amazing because you're taking responsibility, and it's a really beautiful thing to do. Thank you. No, seriously, thank you. No, I think you're great like that. You're very strong to be able to control things like that. And then you let it go, and they will then say, invariably rather, no, I think I'm too controlling. And you go, no, you're just really strong. No, I'm too controlling. Well, you know, you could always like try being a bit less and see what happens. You know, the way I do it personally is I don't try and control anything. I let the doubt it, you know, that. That's a brilliant technique if you can get in the mood for it, but you can't force it. You can't rush it. It has to come on in its own way at its own time, that little conversation. But it's magic if you get it, if you can do it. And it's true as well. We want to find the beauty in the other, not the ugly. So look for the beauty in everything they do, if you can, and acknowledge that. And somehow that will be the key that will unlock the ugly behavior. I hope. I hope.
Yeah, I like that. And as you say, you can't force or rush that, and it'll come in its own sweet time. Yeah. Thank you, Doc.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Deanna is saying, how do you make your decisions when it comes to choice of work? Do you recommend long-term envisioning? Any top books or programs that you recommend?
Choice of work. Well, it's well. Look, you see, the thing is, this is a whole massive subject. This because I don't myself make decisions in terms of work. I would never advise anyone to. I'd say that you must come into your back and open yourself for guidance from the big presence and say, what is it you want me to do here? How can I best serve here? How do I help my fellows the most? How do I make the biggest contribution? How do I give the gift of the beauty of my soul, the unique beauty of me? How do I make that gift available in the best way to everybody? And then you just like let go, and it tells you what to do. Actually, that's the one angle. Another angle is you already know what to do. We all know already everything that's going to happen. You know what's the right thing to do. So rather than either way, it's the same story. Instead of relying on the front-based internal narrative and the rational mind of what you think you should do and what other people would think would be a good idea, and what would look good to other people if you did or didn't, you know, and all the rest of it. let that go fallow, and let the greater intelligence at the back of the brain tell you what to do. It will tell you. It already knows. You already know what the one you want to do. You'll do it. You'll just do the one you're meant to do. It'll be fine. There are no decisions. The only decision is whether to relax and enjoy the flow, enjoy the ride being here and roll with it, or resist it and not enjoy it. That's the only decision to make, I think.
Okay.
Not very practical, probably, but I'll stand by it.
Yeah, no, clear and concise. Thank you. That one was for Deanna. Sue Ratley is up next. She's asking, hey, Doc, do you work your magic on animals, which we actually know you do? I used to walk my dog every day for good health for both of us, but it takes so much energy that instead of being invigorated, I end up drained. I used to love to walk all my dogs, but I dread it so much that I avoid it. He's a lot better about it now, but my dread is greater than my desire to walk him. He needs to interact out in the world. I have worked on my walking Frankie energy. I'm assuming the dog's called Frankie, but can't seem to find the right direction. How do I recalibrate myself to do this important task for Frankie?
Yeah, no, it's a very difficult one because you've got to listen to your body, and you mustn't ever force it. You mustn't force your body. But firstly, with just walking or any kind of physical exercise, that has to be conducted over a period of time, over a long period, an hour or whatever it is. The Taoist way is to start off really gentle, never force the beginning. If you're feeling really floppy and weak, you move like a floppy, weak person, and you keep moving like a floppy, weak person until the body starts to pick up the energy on its own, which it always does. If it doesn't, it means you really are tired and shouldn't be doing anything anyway, and then you rest. And that could be applied to the walking, that you would start off much slower and build your pace, and the dog will have to calibrate to that. But this is the other thing. If you really want to be the person to take him on his long walks and not find someone else to do it for you, you need to start visualizing yourself running like the Bionic Woman at a ridiculous rate. Like every footstep propels you 20 meters along. And you see it in slow-mo, but you get that thing of running and you're charging along, and it's without any effort at all. It's this amazing feeling that you're just flying and flying, and you picture the muscles of the thighs really working and the muscles of the shoulders, and you picture the enjoyment of it all. When you visualize things, don't try and believe them, because that gets in the way. This is just a thing of seeing it, like watching an ostrich dance over the sky. It's the same. You don't believe it, but you see it. You just see yourself running like that. You see yourself running at 100 miles an hour, and it's a beautiful feeling. You see it for a moment often, and within 3 or 4 days of doing that, you'll notice you've got more energy and strength in your legs and in your body. Your breathing will be more fluid, and you'll be more desirous of going for walks for longer periods.
That one was for you, Sue Ratley. I hope that helped. Yeah, I love that about visualizing yourself, walking with lots of energy, and like the Bionic Woman. Great advice.
Well, man, if it's you.
Oh, man, yeah. Just going to go to the comments. See if I can get up. Samantha saying, hi, Barefoot. Managed to catch the end, sending lots of love from Ramsbottom. Oh, bless you.
Oh, nice. Hey, Sam. Nice to see you.
Can't wait until you're back next year. Love the t-shirt, Sam.
Thank you.
Sam.
Sam's great. Ramsbottom's great. Do you know Ramsbottom? It's a very prosaic sounding name for a very beautifully poetic, gorgeous place in the Pennines, above Manchester and Bury, like back in the Pennines. It's gorgeous up there. Really good, a really special place. Because my mum's from up there, and it's not far from there, and it's it was like a homecoming doing a thing there. I love it. It reawoken my northern soul. Sam's done that. She's brilliant, Sam.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Thanks, Sam. Andy Richardson saying, wow, so much information. I'm going to have to rewatch to absorb it all properly. Yeah, me too. I always go back and rewatch them.
I'm honoured. Thank you, Angie.
Benny, my mate Benny, saying, very helpful. Thank you, guys.
Pleasure, Benny. I love the name Benny, don't you? I love Benny. Benny's such a great name.
Yeah, it's not actually his real name, but that's a whole other story. But
that doesn't matter. That's a good name.
Yes. Right. What have we got next? Tracy Wise is asking, I'm sure a lot of people on this call will resonate with, this scenario. She's saying, how on earth do you remain calm and centered in the midst of the chaos of Brexit? And I think using the word chaos to describe it has been polite. But yeah, any thoughts on that one?
Wow. Well, I mean, firstly, is that Tracy Wise that I know?
It is, yeah.
Well, bless you. It's lovely to see you come up in this. I hope you're doing well. The Brexit thing, the chaos is actually something that is being reported on by the media, rather than in actuality something that's happening in each of our personal kind of lives. Our thoughts can be chaotic about it, but the actual reality of what's going on is not probably that chaotic for you in your life in this moment. But there is chaos going on in the government about it, and it's really how do we accommodate that? These are our leaders. This is the leader. Are they going to do a good job for us? Are they going to mess things up? That's really the fear, isn't it? Or how much are they going to mess things up? How much of a good job are they going to do? It's never one or the other. It's always a bit of both. And I think that the best we can do is sit in the back, be aware that you're alive. Being alive is amazing. You've got the gift. All of this is like some mad dream. It's fun. It's a great ride. And we, each of us, have the power to influence the dream quite profoundly, even if it's subtly. But subtle doesn't mean small. Subtle means massive sometimes. Well, like the Tao is the subtlest thing there is, and it's the whole universe, for example. So if you can get the feeling that whatever happens, the nation, so to speak, will emerge from it feeling better about being in the nation than they felt before, will emerge from it feeling more at one with each other than they did before, that the divisions that are apparent in society will feel less jarring to everybody than they did before. Somehow, we don't know how that's going to be, and that somehow common sense will prevail in the situation for everybody's benefit, so that somehow or other everybody comes out of it feeling at least slightly better than they would have done than before. But also that through adversity comes the opposite. Through chaos comes order. Through confusion comes clarity. So honoring the yin and the yang of it all, saying, okay, well, it looks chaotic right now. What I will for is for the yin and yang to turn, and for this to transform itself into something very clear and viable. So you will for something viable to occur. You just assume that will be, and also assume that if it isn't, it will be a blip that will somehow get around. It might take a few hundred years to recover from. Who knows? But what a mad thing to be happening. But it's obviously meant to be happening, or it wouldn't be. I think. Was that an answer? Did that help? Have a sense of humor about it is what I'm saying, I think. You got to, because it's crazy.
Great advice as always. It's funny, before we jumped on this call today, I was just reflecting on how if there's, if you consider the yin and the yang of everything, if there's more and more people reaching high levels of consciousness, awareness, being awake, then does it not follow there'll be more sort of acts that make us feel appalled, more heinous crimes and
you're right,
tragedies and all the rest of it. And
anyway, more and more people working in the media needing to get attention to what they're doing to get their ratings up and whatever, making it more and more sensationalist and making it more and more like that for everyone.
That's true. I'm just going to go to the comments section a second. Wendy, who I've known for years, is saying, lovely to join you both. Yeah, it is. How are we doing, mate? Lovely to see you. Our friend Lynn Stones is saying, happy to have connected you too. Enjoy while you can, Sam. Yeah, nice one, Lynn, for connecting Sam. Right, so that's about the hour. I want to thank everyone for their questions, for joining us today on the replay. I want to wish everyone a happy Christmas from the Doc and I.
Yes.
We'll be, as far as I'm aware, certainly from my perspective, we'll be picking these back up early in the new year, assuming that Stephen's up for that.
Yes, I am, of course. I love it.
Yeah. And much love to you all. And we'll talk to you soon. All the best. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.